Welcome back to War Thunder League News. This week, quite a few things have happened. One of the most notable ones is the battle range changes did finally come, but there's some differences into what was proposed and the final outcome. As well as that is there are currently some proposed economic as well as tech tree placements that are planned to happen sometime mid-February, they state. So for the most part, I'll be going through that, and I'm going to do the same I did as the battle range changes in my prior video, starting with the US and going down the line of nations. So starting with the United States. No changes to any of their tanks, but another set of jets got battle range changes in the final release of the battle range changes, starting with the F-86A5, as well as the F-25. The Chinese and Japanese F-30s, as well as the F-35, have all been lowered from 8.7 to 8.3 in realistic battles. And also, the A-7D and arcade only has had a battle rating increase from 9.7 to 10.0. Beyond that is economic changes and a position change in the tree. The P-47N-15 has been moved before the P-51Ds. Because of this, the P-47N's research costs as well as purchase and crew training costs have all gone up, but not by too much. The research costs went up 17,000, the purchase cost went up 90,000, actually is quite a while, and the crew training cost has gone up 25,000. Now also the crew expert cost, crew ace cost, as well as talisman costs have also taken a similar direction, and they will so with the other aircraft that are being moved around. However, I'm not going to exactly cover those because they're not necessary purchases for you to control the vehicle, but they are available and will be linked below if you are interested in viewing them. However, the two P-51s that the P-47N is now in front of actually had a reduction to their research, purchase, and crew training costs, though not as significant as the increase to the P-47N's costs. For Germany, I had noted that their Stug 3F, as stated it would be, was moved down in realistic battles, but also in arcade as well, which wasn't priorly stated. The Panzerjäger 1 and the 15cm Geek Gun are going to switch places when these tech tree moves are put into place, and because of this, their economic values have switched around. What was stated in the battle range changes but has not yet happened, the Panther G and the Panther F are to switch places, and like the Panzerjäger and the other tank, these two tanks, the two Panthers, are also going to be switched around. Further on that has been taking place already. The reduction to the fire rate of the Leopard 2A6 has been implemented. However, it's a bit different than how it was presented originally. It does also carry over for the STRV 122B Pliz. However, it does not carry over for the Leo 2A5 or the 122A. Those ones have the same 10 rounds per minute fire rate. For German aircraft, the Ju-87G group is planned to move ahead of the Ju-87D group, and because of this, they are also switching around their economic values. The BF-110G group is going to be moved up to rank 3, and because of this, their purchase, research, and crew training costs are all going to be increased. However, it's only by a few thousand, not too much. The Du-217N group is being moved to rank 2, and because of this, their economic values are being reduced. But they're being reduced equal to the amount in which the BF-110G group is being increased. Beyond that, the Focke-Wulf 190A4 is being moved up to rank 3, and the Focke-Wulf 190A5s are being grouped together. At least that's what I assume it is. It had stated a set of vehicles that are to be grouped together, though it stated the Focke-Wulf 190A5 twice, and once the A5 U2. I'm assuming that's supposed to be a typo, and they had accidentally cut off the U12, as that is one of the A5s that is having economic changes to it. Now, these economic changes aren't identical to all each other. The A5 U2 is actually having a reduction, pretty significant amount, 14,000 off the research cost, 50,000 off the purchase cost, and 14,000 off the crew training cost, while the other two are having increases, though not as dramatic. Some interesting situations are happening for Russia come these tech tree changes. The Su-122 and the Zis-30 are switching places, and because of this, their economic values are also switching. As stated in the battle range changes, but it has not yet actually taken place, the T-54 1949 is to move out of the T-54 group and be ahead of the folder. However, because of this, the 49 and 47 are switching economic values. Unlike a lot of the other changes that are happening with the trees, this one I think you should pay attention to if you are currently researching the 1947. You might want to hurry up and finish that one off, as soon you're going to be cut off and have to research a whole new tank from the start before you can research that one. On to aircraft, starting out, there was one battle rating change, the MiG-15 BIS, as well as the German one and the J2, which I think is a BIS, but I'm not sure, has gone down since the battle range changes from 8.7 to 8.3 in realistic battles. On to tech tree changes for aircraft. The Yak-9K and the Yak-9T are switching places, and this includes their economic values switching. A dumb one that is happening is the Yak-15 and the Yak-15P are switching places, as well as, of course, their economic values are switching. Now, as you can see in the video, I haven't actually taken much of a thought or opinion on the other changes. I've already made my disagreements with the battle range changes, and this is just changing things around in tech trees. However, this one precisely, I think it does require a bit of commentary because it holds some issues. You see, the Yak-15P has one gun, one 23mm cannon. Because of this, and only having 60 rounds, it's pretty awful, and there's no way to increase that amount of rounds or cannons. So if you decide that you happen to want to research the Yak line all the way down to the jets, the first jet you're greeted with is going to be probably the worst jet in game. Now, it is kind of fun to fly around because you do often face props, but that doesn't really matter. You have one gun, you're not killing anything, even with belts. It's going to dramatically decrease the amount of research points you get per game. Now, you guess you could stick with the plan that you were grinding and try to grind past it, but it's going to be quite difficult. Essentially, now instead of having a early jet, you have a roadblock. It wasn't too bad when it was folded with the regular Yak-15, as that thing isn't the worst, and if you decided to research this thing, you get entertained with a meme jet. But the meme jet was not a necessity to get farther in the tree. Up and onward to the British. The Centurion Mark 1, as you know, had been changed from 5.7 to 6.0 in realistic, but now that change has also spread over to arcade. The Challenger, not the MBT, and the Comet are switching places, and because of this, their economic values are also switching. The Swingfire is going to rank 5, and because of this, it is actually having a reduction in its research cost by 10,000. Its purchase cost is also going down by 50,000, and its crew training cost is going down by 10,000 as well. Beyond that, the Striker is also having a reduction. Its research cost is going down 40,000, while its purchase cost is going down 90,000, and the crew training cost is going down by 30,000. The Ruikot Mark 1D is also having a reduction to its research cost, but only 30,000. However, the purchase cost is going down by 110,000, and the crew training cost is going down also by 30,000. And the end off changes to the British tank tech tree. The VFM5 is going down in research cost by 140,000. The purchase cost is going down by 330,000, while the crew training cost is going down by 90,000. For their aircraft, one vehicle actually had its battle range change fixed. In both of the proposed battle range changes, the Buccaneer S2 was said to be going up from 9.3 to 9.7, which had already taken place, and it was strange, and people had actually brought it up in the comments of the suggested feedback, though Gaijin did not bother to fix it. Well, now that the battle ranges are finally implemented, it turns out that they actually had planned it for they go up even further. The Buccaneer S2, in arcade only, is going up from 9.7 to 10.0. For British boats, there was another tech tree change. The Formal D697 is actually switching places with the Brave class P1011. And like what had happened to other vehicles that were switching places, the economic values of these two vehicles are also switching places. On to Japan, the whole reproduction and the Type 75 SBH, as planned to, are going to switch places when these changes take place, and of course their economic values are also switching. So if you don't currently have the whole reproduction, I suggest that you research it as fast as possible. Honestly, I say that thing needs a battle rating change down to 6.7. I don't understand why this thing has to be 7.0 while things like the Yag Tiger are 6.7, which has stronger armor, stronger gun, I think a slower reload, but it's not stronger by a small margin, it's stronger by quite a big margin. Yeah, of course it has a lower battle rating. This is the thing that annoys me with German players. When I make fun of German players, of course I'm not making fun of every single German player, but it's obvious that there is a segment of people who play Germany that aren't that good, and because of this, Gaijin decides to coddle them, doing things like moving the Leopard 1 down to 7.3. However, vehicles that are equivalent to a Leopard 1, say the AMX-30s, are still 7.7. In fact, you can even argue that the AMX-30 is worse than the Leopard 1. It has no AP ammunition, only heat, which personally I find the heat kind of bad. Another example is actually the German Yeet cannon, which just had a reduction to its research cost. And when you compare it to the Japanese Yeet cannon, while the Japanese Yeet cannon does have a Commander MG and also stronger armor, as well as a slightly higher muzzle velocity, about 50 or so meters per second, the German one actually has higher penetration and a faster reload, yet for whatever reason, the German one has a lower battle rating. But really, I do know the reason, and the prime issue is Gaijin region's balancing method going off player statistics, more people play Germany, meaning that there's more variables in the case of a German tank than there is of a Japanese tank or a French tank, and generally that typically means that the statistics are going to go down more. A better player has a harder time skewing the results to make the tank look better, while in a Japanese tank it's a bit easier to do that because there's less bad players that you're competing with. But that's the subject for another video. I think we need to get on with these changes. On to Italy, starting with the R3T20. In the update that changed the battle range, it also had a nerf to it. Now when you go over 25 kilometers an hour, the stabilizer does not work. On top of that, for all ground vehicles with 20mm cannons, they now produce a less spalling. These nerfs will definitely impact the R3T20's usefulness quite a bit. However, I don't think it's going to knock it off the block on which it sits of being OP at 4.0, just slightly less now. There are many situations in which it goes very fast and gets around enemies, but then is nice and still while killing those enemies. It's also kind of annoying that instead of balancing the vehicle appropriately by giving a higher battle rate, they decided to ahistorically nerf it. Now I'm going to say ahistorically because they did not provide any sources saying that this thing was unable to keep stabilized when at high speeds. Though if anyone has any information out there on how it performed at high speeds and if this is actually historic, I'd be kind of interested to hear about it. Beyond that, another Italian spag that does the job a little too well is the Automatic is now being moved up to rank 7 and after the Sidam 25 Mistral. Also, the research cost is going up 150,000, the purchase cost is going up 340,000, and the crew training cost is going up 100,000. For Italian aircraft, starting off, the Ju-87R2 for Italy is having a reduction to its economic values. The Beretta 88 is going to rank 1 and also having a reduction to its economic values, while the RE2001CN is being moved to rank 3 and having an increase to its economic values, though the FC20 BIS is also having a reduction. The P108A Series 2 is being moved to rank 2, and of course research purchase and true training costs are going down. Beyond that, the 108B Series 1 is being moved to rank 3, as well as the SM91, though their economic values are not being changed. And that is all the battle range changes that have taken place, as well as all the planned economic and tech tree changes. It's possible in the future these could be changed, but I don't see it, and when they do, I'll report on that. It, once again, is supposed to happen sometime mid-February is the time scale they gave, no exact dates. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you had a great time. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons, YouTube members, and Twitch subscribers. Thank you very much, dudes. As usual, if you have any comments, concerns, or questions about this video, you can hit me up down below or on my Discord. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I make what the news every Friday, make random videos that week. And I like to stream on Saturdays. But this Saturday, I unfortunately am going to be out, so I'll have to do a makeup stream for it on Sunday. If not Sunday, Monday. Hopefully, I'll also have a video coming out either even later today, but most likely Sunday or even Monday. So be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything at all. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic day. But in the terms of bonus news, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, but buy Dogecoin. Honestly, I would buy Bitcoin, but Dogecoin.